Welcome everybody to the Baines Community Interagency meeting on a very hot day. Hopefully you're all nice and cool. We'll try and keep the meeting as short as we possibly can. I know you really value the meetings. They're a great way to engage with others and make connections. I'm here just as chair for the session. So what I'll do is I'll call people in turn just to say who they are and just to have a little bit of a discussion about what they're doing, any projects they're involved with, any events that they've got on, or any connections they want to make. That's your opportunity. I'll try and give people about 5 minutes each, if that's okay. And I'll go round on my screen, whoever is next on my screen, and invite you to say a few words. If you don't want to say a few words, that's equally fine. Just sit back and listen to others. Thanks for participating again today. Our interagency meetings are supported by our Interagency Bulletin, which goes out. So hopefully you would have seen the bulletin. You're signed up to that. That goes out. We try to get that out monthly, if not every 6 weeks, and that provides lots of information about things that are going on, events, consultation, and funding. So do look out for it. It's really useful. We do put previous editions of the bulletin, so if you've missed something in an edition, you can look on our website for one that's gone several weeks or months before. So do make yourselves aware of our website and information on that. So welcome again. My name's Sarah Dixon. I work for Bath and North East Somerset Council in the community engagement team. I have nothing specific to report from our team at the moment. We're involved in lots of different things in the council. We're supporting the Ukraine guests that are arriving on the Home to Ukraine scheme through our community wellbeing hub. So Dave and myself are out doing welfare visits to guests that arrive with other colleagues. We're also doing lots of work with parishes and engaging with parishes, and also we're doing funding bids, and Mark and Alison are busy sorting out some funding programmes for lots of different things which are available in our Interagency Bulletin. So we've got a whole variety of different things that we get involved with, but nothing specifically that I think is important to share with you today around whether we can link up. But if there is anything, we'll certainly put it in our bulletin. So I'm going to hand over to you. So if it's okay, I'm going to start first with Andrew, because you're top left of my screen, Andrew West. If you wouldn't mind saying who you are and sharing a few bits.
Some of you might have seen me before, some of my colleagues. So I'm Andrew West. I'm a career coach on the Future Bright programme, which has been going since April 2018. Due to carry on until March 2024. We're hoping funding gets extended, etc. We cover the Baines area, so Future Bright is also in Bristol and South Gloss as well, under exactly the same criteria. We're a career progression programme, so our criteria is over 18, and the age limit is, there isn't an age limit. They've got to be living in Baines. They've got to be in paid work ideally at the time of wanting to make a referral and sign up, or self-employed and have an income again at the same time of wanting to sign up. And they also have to be claiming one of the following benefits. You've got the universal credit, and then you've got everything else that comes under universal credits. If they're not claiming any benefits, but they're in work, if they're earning less than the real living wage, which is £9.90 an hour, then they can still get referred. And if we do get referrals that aren't eligible, we will spend 1 or 2 hours with them, having a chat with them and offering them lots of different signposting advice to various different organisations if we're not the right organisation. We do. But Future Bright sits under the banner of business and skills within the council. So we do also have a couple of people, one person who offers information, advice and guidance coaching within the business and skills team. and they're part of they're also part of the community, the community hub, compassionate community hub. So some people go via them, but if we get people that aren't eligible for us, then we might well refer them to them. And we have another lady in the business and skills team that tends to work with employers and volunteer work, and she will also work with people who are maybe having trouble finding an employer to get a job. So she's kind of got jobs, and then she talks to people as well. So we've kind of got various different streams about where people can go. But ideally, when we work with people, we're trying to work out what their aspirations are, what their goals are, career related, and move them forwards. We do also find with a lot of people that there are things going on outside of work, so we will definitely focus on that. I've got quite a few people who, outside of the work stuff, that there are things going on as well, so we'll work with that as well if that's something that's holding them back from moving forwards. So that's kind of us. And if you want to refer, you can go onto the Future Right website and just do a quick self-referral, which is literally their name, their postcode, their phone number and email address, and then that'll come to us, and then we'll pick up on that and speak to them. Or you can email the Future Bright email address, or phone the Future Bright number, which is again on the Future Bright website. Anyone have any questions? Anything they'd like to ask?
Andrew, could I ask that you put the referral link in the chat, if that's okay, and your contact details, so that people know where they can refer to, so they've got a direct link, if that's all right. Yeah. Any questions for Andrew before we move on? That's great. Thanks, Andrew. And it's really interesting to hear that you're trying to that the issues for people are often more broader than those that you deliver the service, and actually it's really good that you have conversations with people about that, and you're linked into the Community Wellbeing Hub and other services. So it's great to hear those links are there, because people need some support, and that it's a challenging time for a lot of people. So so thanks very much. Thanks for what you've been doing.
That's okay. Thank you.
Ruth, I'm going to call Ruth in, Ruth Campbell, if that's okay, from Westport.
Thanks, Sarah. Hi, everybody. First time attending, nice to meet everybody. Alison from the communities team had shared the interagency information and that you guys meet, so I wanted to jump in and say hello and hopefully attend a few. I work for Westport. You may not have heard of us. We're the West Midlands Sport Trust. We're a sport and kind of health charity. We cover the whole of the old Avon kind of boundary, and we've been supporting people and the gap towards kind of physical activity and people leading physically active lives. So we do that through a number of things, through kind of schools engagement, workplaces, and some broader kind of programs that I'll kind of come on to. We've been working on a specific fund with 3SG, third sector group, so I think Miles might be dropping in and out of some of these calls as well. And the fund that we've been managing has been called the Together Fund, and Miles has been helping us to try and reach communities that wouldn't normally either think of applying to funding to utilise sport and physical activity, and to support key focus groups that have been disproportionately affected by not only the kind of COVID itself, but the impact kind of the pandemic. So it's now called the Together Fund. We've just done a huge round of funding where we've awarded quite a few funds in Baines at around about 33,000. But we've ring-fenced a small amount of money just to try and reach some of the audiences that either weren't reached in kind of the first few rounds of funding, and in key areas where, through some of mapping areas that won't be a surprise to people, but where there's multiple layers of disadvantage, and where key focus audiences maybe don't have as good access to kind of opportunities to become physically active and kind of embed that into their lives. So across Baines, we're looking at areas Radstock, Midsummer Norton, Twerton and Poulton. And with 3SG, like I said, we've got a bit of coverage in some of those areas. We work with a great organisation called Sporting Family Change, which I'm sure some people know. We've done some amazing work over the kind of the three different phases of funding that we've had. But we're just trying to make sure that that funding goes kind of as far as possible. And for Sport England, who manage this fund nationally, they've been really key to see that kind of 80% of the people that have accessed this funding have never had Sport England funding before. So we've been supporting a lot of organisations, a bit like kind of Genesis Trust in Bath as well, who potentially wouldn't have used physical activity before, but have used this funding kind of pilot ways of how they can engage their audience and support them a bit longer term. One of the key things from Genesis, which was really interesting, was that through the pandemic, and they obviously found it difficult bringing people in to have some of their client conversations. So they started up walking programs with some of the clients, and they found that actually the clients were disclosing a lot of information, being a little bit more free, and it helped their colleague kind of get out and do a bit of physical activity during the day as well. So they actually found the benefit to their life skills project of including that kind of had bigger implications for them than just obviously paying for a bit of funding and giving the client a bit of physical activity. It was something that was supported by the workplace as well, which was really positive. So it's just a bit of a heads up, really, to let you guys know that there's a little bit of funding there for sport and physical activity projects. It's specifically focused around COVID recovery and the impact of that, and trying to reach organisations, like I said, that wouldn't think about using kind of physical activity. We've got key focus audiences within this as well. So it's people with long-term health conditions, people on low income, people from culturally diverse communities, and disabled people, who are our key audience that Sport England obviously recognised that through the start of the pandemic and the implications of the lockdowns, that those people were already slightly less active, and obviously they were impacted much more throughout the conditions of kind of lockdown and the actual kind of issues around COVID. So that's kind of our priority audiences. Like I said, we've spent a bit of money already in this area to focus on some of those organisations. But just to give you guys a heads up, like I said, we'll be linking in with Miles at 3SG. So if you've already got a relationship there, or you want to reach out to me with any kind of ideas or any groups that you think would be interested in this, then absolutely please do. And appreciate the time again, Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruth. You've obviously a great place to work. There's lots of laughter in the background. We can hear all the stuff going on.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. No, it's good. It's nice. It's nice to all be back together again, isn't it? Definitely. I just wondered if you're working in some of our area. There's some great links with the parish councils and town councils that are worth making. I've just put some stuff in the chat because they do run activities and groups, and they have spaces like they have. Just thinking Portland as an example, they have tennis courts and other activities, so it's worth contacting them. The children's centres, if you haven't done already, in those areas, and Swallow, they might be quite a good charity to contact.
Yeah. Great, yeah, we've linked to Swallow. They've been fantastic, and yeah, I think the facility thing as well is really key, isn't it? I think especially as we come to winter as well, having actual physical spaces. I should mention as well that we run the parks tennis program, so tennis in the park across Baines as well. So I'll send a bit of information, but sorry, it's a bit noisy.
No, it's fine. No,
thanks for all the chat stuff. I'll reply in there. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Ruth. And send us some information, because maybe there's some other organisations we can link you up with as well. So that'd be great. Thank you. Brilliant. Thanks, Ruth. Any questions for Ruth at all before we move on? No. Okay, great. So Kathy Godden, is right. Bring you in next. Are you happy?
Yeah, hello everyone, nice to meet you. This is my first time attending the meeting as well. I'm the community manager for Power Advocacy Service, who provide all the statutory and non-statutory advocacy services across Baines on behalf of the local authority. If you haven't come across advocates before, our job is to make sure that people who need some support have an advocate to help them have a voice in a situation, their treatment, their care, and are able to put forward their wishes and feelings, often when they're in a vulnerable position. So we provide all of the statutory advocacy services. So we do independent mental health advocacy on the psychiatric wards in Baines. We do independent mental capacity advocacy. So that's for people who might be in a care home, for example, maybe lack capacity and maybe need an advocate to support them with things like changes of accommodation, for example, safeguarding. We provide advocacy for Care Acts, so people who are undergoing a care assessment, who might need an advocate to support them with that process. And we also do NHS complaints as well. So when people are making a complaint about their treatments to the NHS, once that's gone through PALS, if they're still unhappy with the response, then we can support them with that as well. We also do 2 types of non-statutory advocacy in BAME. So we do community mental health advocacy. That's for people who might have a range of mental health needs, are living in the community and need a little bit of a hand with things like, for example, if they wanted support to communicate with their team because they'd like a change of medication. They might need support at a meeting with a doctor, with a clinician, so we can help with that. We also support social care complaints as well. We've been working within the BAMES area since late 2019, but obviously because of COVID, all of the services very, very quickly went remote. So we haven't quite had the face-to-face presence that we would have liked from the beginning of the contract. But we are, you know, and have been for quite some time now doing face-to-face meetings with clients. We're hoping to get a community drop-in going quite soon. That'll probably be once a month to start off with, in the hope that we will reach more people and get more information out into the community about support for mental health, amongst the other types of advocacy that we do. So once we get that set up, then I will let you know where that's happening. It might be useful to some of the people that you work with also. Just as an aside, I also look after the Bristol Advocacy team as well. If you do have any links with Bristol, we don't provide the statutory advocacy in Bristol, we provide non-statutory advocacy. So that's advocacy around we provide citizens advocacy, which is one-to-one work face-to-face. We also provide a range of drop-ins in Bristol, across the Bristol region, and we also support people from ethnic minority groups on the psychiatric wards in Bristol as well. So I don't know if anybody has got any questions I can help with.
Oh, I don't think so. Thanks, Kathy. That sounds really interesting. And I don't know, are you looking for suggestions about places for your community drop-ins?
Well, yeah, that would be great. What I'll do is I'll put my email address in the chat, and then if anybody's got any any suggestions for a good place to the places where drop-ins have worked well in the past are places where people are coming and going. So anywhere where there's like you know, like a coffee morning or something a couple of times a week. Food banks are good. Anywhere where we can introduce ourselves to people, give them a leaflet, tell them what we do and how to get in contact with us. Often people say at that moment, there's nothing at the moment, but they know where to find us in the future if something comes up that they need some support with.
Oh, that sounds great. Thanks, Kathy. So if anybody's got any thoughts, or Kathy's going to put her email address in the chat, do send it to her. Do consider our community libraries. There's lots of them across the whole area. Peasdown Hub is a good place, Community 67, and the churches often do meeting places, coffee mornings, and they have regular meeting catch-ups. So yeah, there's lots of community activity going on there. But if you've got any targeted areas, then put it in the chat, and we can certainly help, and I'm sure colleagues can help with some suggestions. So thanks very much. Thanks, Kathy. Mel, is it okay if we go to you next? Is that all right?
Yes, that's fine. Hi. I'm also first time attending this meeting, as I'm just days into a new job. I'm the coordinator for the BAMES Children and Young People's Network. And for those of you that don't know, it's a post that is commissioned by BAMES, funded by St John's Foundation, but hosted at the Bath Area Play Project. So I'm just getting my own head around that at the minute. But essentially, we're providing support for voluntary and community sector organisations that work to deliver services for children and young people whose parents or carers pay council tax in the BAMES area. So that's the definition of, so it could be an organisation external to BAMES, but if they're delivering support within BAMES, then we're seeking to attract their membership. And at present, there are three key services we provide. So we're providing a monthly e-bulletin, so that's a lot of local news, national news, policy work, funding opportunities. And then we have quarterly network meetings as well, and they've just had one, try and bring in speakers to those meetings around topical issues. And then the third thing, the key thing, is that we make sure we represent that voluntary community sector at strategic level meetings in BAMES. So we have members who are sitting on those meetings, and we might support some memberships or organisations to engage with those meetings as well. So those are the three key things, but as I'm very new to post, I haven't really got anything else to share at the moment, but this is a brilliant forum and I'm so glad to be able to be part of it and hear what everybody else has got to say. And I'm sure I'll be following up a few contacts afterwards as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Mel, and welcome to BAMES. Your Children and Young People's Network is really good, and I know we refer often a lot of information to that network. So so welcome, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon, as like other colleagues will be as well. So thanks very much. Do put your contact details in the chat as well, so so that other colleagues can make contact with you. Thanks very much. Okay, any questions for any questions? No, okay. I shall move on straight away. Richard, do you mind coming in now, if that's right?
I don't mind coming in now. Thank you very much, Sarah. So I run this. For those to the newbies, those who have heard this before, bear with me for 2 minutes. For newbies, I run Summer Valley FM. It's a community radio station located in Midsummer Norton. For the Bath Centrics, that's 8 miles south of where you are. And the reason I come on here is, as much as possible, I try and support local communities through broadcasting, through attendance, whatever we can do. So as some examples, Wendy's on here from Stop Loan Sharks. We did an interview piece on their organisation 3 weeks ago. Sarah mentioned right at the top of this that I visited the Peasdown St John Community Hub yesterday with Dina Romero, who's the cabinet member for Children and Young People. And it's part of our exercise now to go to, this is Dina and me who interviewed each other, or interview each other? I interview her once a fortnight. She's lost the culture role, so we're concentrating more on community sites now. So every fortnight, we pick a community site, we go and interview there, and whilst we're interviewing there, we get the opportunity to feature and explain what's going on at that site as well. So 2 weeks ago, we actually did Swallow Charity. Prior to that, we did the new community hub in Midsummer Norton, number 14. As I mentioned with Sarah, we were at the hub yesterday, and one is Julian House, which we're doing in August. So if anybody has a need, anybody wants us to rock up and give us a nice room where we can interview and feature your organisation, we'll happily do that. I'm also developing another community show as well. So we're a local radio station. We have to, like all community units, we have to pay for ourselves. So there's a commercial aspect, but I do want to feature community organisations as much as I can. So there's a new community show coming, which will be hosted jointly by Age UK, the Carer Centre, Westfield Big Local, and Creativity Works. And that's the kind of idea that we want to do, really. In terms of us as a radio station, do listen in. You can catch us on DAB, online, smart speaker, 97.5 if you're in North East Somerset. We do 14 live and fresh hours of shows every day. And we're good enough that one of our guys is on Radio 1 and hits radio at the moment. I think here endeth the sermon. Thank you, Sarah.
Thanks, Richard. If you could put your information in the chat, I'm sure you'll have a few people contact you. It was really nice to see you because I've met you obviously on our interagency meetings, but and forums, which you've kindly attended, but we've never met face to face. So it was nice to finally meet face to face. And we had a pigeon arrive while you were recording, so that caused some drama during your recording, so hopefully that caused a bit of amusement for your interview.
I'm undecided because the weather's going to be bad when the interview airs. I'm undecided whether to leave in the milk float siren I also got during the interview. But thank you for hosting me.
That's all right. Thanks for coming down. Brilliant. Thank you. Okay. On
Sorry, can I ask?
Oh,
sorry, is it okay if I ask?
Yes.
I have a question. Is
Oh,
that,
I'm sorry. I do apologise.
That's okay.
Sorry, Andrew.
That's okay.
Yeah, please ask.
It's to Richard. Has anyone from Future Bright bring down and sort of done a chat with you about Future Bright down there?
Yeah, so we've done some things with. Forgive the abbreviation. I know some people aren't happy with it, but in terms of WECA, we do a lot. So Dan Norris, I interview about once every quarter or so. Yeah. We went to the last. I've forgotten the name of it. There was a recruitment fair at the Midsummer Norton.
New opportunities,
and I can't remember if it was Future Bright or not, but certainly the WECA were there as well. I'm more than happy to feature these sort of initiatives that WECA run. Yeah.
No. What I was asking is because we do this. We one of my colleagues goes regularly onto Bath FM. Sorry to mention the opposition, but regularly they go onto Bath FM and they do chats about Future Bright and things, people they've supported. Has anyone from Future Bright been onto your radio show and done that?
Not this year, no.
Okay. What's the best way to get a hold of you? Because
I've actually put my email at the top of this feed, but I'll put it back in there, Andrew. If someone could drop me an email, that'd be great.
Yeah. We have a couple of people that live in your neck of the woods down there. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
Delighted to.
Cheers.
Oh, thanks very much. Okay, Nikki Kelly, are you okay to come in now? Are you ready?
Hi, yes. Hello, everybody. So firstly, I apologise if I have a coughing fit. I'm post-COVID. It's left me with a lovely cough, but I am okay. So just excuse me. So I'm from Dorothy House Hospice. A lot of you, if you already have been on these networking things, will know Louise Clapton. So this is also my first meeting. So there's lots of new people here today, I gather. So Louise covered the whole of Dorothy House area, which is 700 square miles, which, as you can probably appreciate, is quite a mammoth task. And we recently had a service review where our area has been divided up into 4 sections. And I am the new community engagement and volunteer coordinator, which is a bit of a mouthful, for the Baines area, which is mainly Bath and Keynsham. There are borders around. What we've now been asked to do is 2 parts, really. The community engagement is obviously very much where I'm looking to meet people at these sorts of events. So, thank you, everybody. I'm really enjoying listening to all of your messages, where we're looking to see what assets we've already got in our community and that we can build on and collaborate with some of the things we're doing with our new service review. So at Dorothy House Hospice, we now aim to support people in the last 1,000 days of their life. So as you can appreciate, some of our illnesses that we cover are longer term ones. And therefore we're trying to reach as many parts of the community as we can, and a variety of demographics, wherever they're living, whatever race, whatever, anything that's anybody, anywhere, basically. So we're really getting out to the community more. So that's the first part. And then on the volunteering side, as with lots of organisations, with volunteers, COVID has changed many things. I was interested in Ruth's comment about walking, because something we started doing was something called Walking in Grief. And we've now got 2 or 3 groups actually walking together, and it's been sort of self-perpetuating, and rather than us facilitating it, now the people that have been doing it are walking together, and it's been a fantastic success. So it's really interesting how these things develop. So with our volunteers, we have many different volunteers. It's not just our sort of 20 plus shops that we run. It's also companions. It can be one-off things like taking somebody's dog for a walk or respite. So at the moment, I'm just trying to get out and about and meet as many people as possible, and start making contacts so that we can have some collaborations together, rather than us all reinventing the wheel and everybody trying to do the same thing that everyone else is doing. Because sometimes you'll get a volunteer who would happily give up a couple of hours of their very special time to do one thing for one organisation and something for another. So that's what we're aiming to do. So that's it in a nutshell at the moment. So thank you very much, everybody, for your time.
Thanks, Nikki, and welcome to Baines area.
Thank
any
you.
Any questions for Nikki? Oh, Ian. Hi, Ian.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. You mentioned that the Baines area you covered was primarily Bath in Keynsham. How far does that extend, please?
In which direction, Ian? Sorry, because our boundaries are a bit weird.
Okay, out into the Chew Valley area, so the far west of Baines.
So Chew Valley is covered by my peer Donna, because she covers the surgeries down around that side of Baines.
Okay.
It's where there has to be a natural boundary, but I can put my details on and then I can pass anything to Donna, who covers that area.
Okay, thank you, Nikki.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Ian. Nikki, just to let you know that, and might be of interest to others, that the council's looking at its funeral services and looking at how recognising that funeral expenses are of huge cost to people these days, and what they can do in terms of supporting people with funeral poverty. Actually that is a real issue for many people, and they've done some improvements to Hakem Cemetery, and there are some improvements to the spaces there. They're going to sort of do a launch in the autumn. And they're really keen to talk to voluntary organisations about some of their messaging and work with you around promoting some of the services as well. So we'll be back in touch perhaps before the autumn or in the autumn, just to tell you about what's happening and what those services are, and maybe we could arrange a visit to Hakem Cemetery so that people could see and talk to the team about what some of those services are, because I think the council's really aware that people are wanting to do things differently, and the costs are high. It's obviously and they can come directly to the council. They don't have to employ a funeral director. So we the team are looking at doing that. So, and they might need some help in terms of the publicity. So Nikki will definitely be in touch with you, but that will be an offer out to the voluntary sector as well, for those people that are working with people directly, that it might actually benefit from knowing more about the services. So
that's fantastic, Sarah, because what I didn't say was the previous 5 years up until now, I've worked in the family support team at Dorothy House, and I certainly know Dave, who's our chaplain, but we've now renamed our chaplaincy to spiritual care, and we now have the Beacon, where anybody can come at Dorothy House to sit, and I also worked with the social workers and psychotherapists, so all of them I know would be really interested to know about that as well. So thank you.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, we'll be in touch. That's great. So it's great to make the link. Thanks, Nikki. Thank you. As with Zoom, everybody moves around the screen, don't they? So I've done a list and now you've all moved, so apologies if I do miss you off, just shout. But Linda, is Linda still with us? Yeah, Linda, are you ready to do an update?
Hi, I'm actually just an observer really, because I'm a student working with Laura from Heritage Services. I'm doing a placement, so myself and I think Hannah as well, she put in the chat, we're actually observing today just to kind of get an overview of what you do, which it's been really interesting so far. So thank you. But I don't really, fine. I mean, I'm going to be doing a display for the new World Heritage Centre. That's my remit. But other than that, yeah, I'm here to observe.
No, that's fine. That's not a problem at all. Welcome, and
thank you.
Hopefully you can make some links. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So who have I? So Claire, is Claire still with us? Oh, Claire. Hi, Claire.
Hi there, thank you for having me. This is also my first time on this Zoom interagency meeting, so good to meet you all. I work for the Trauma Recovery Centre, and we are a charity. We are in Bath, but we're also in other cities, and we work with children, young people and their families who have experienced complex trauma, and we help see them recover. So we deliver creative psychotherapies for children and young people between the age of 3 and 25. But then we work with parents and carers if the young person is under the age of 16, because we believe completely that if you get the parents and carers involved in the recovery process, then that is a much better approach, and recovery works better. And we work with their schools as well. So our aim is really when they come in and they've usually got goals as to what they want to recover from, and we deliver creative psychotherapies. So that's primarily art, play, music therapy. And we work with them long term until they see recovery happen. We're part of the CYPN network, so nice to meet you, Mel. And yes, currently we work off grant funds primarily, or donations towards the contribution of cost from the people themselves, or if there's like a financial pot that comes with the family, adoption support funding, or if the school has funding. We work from that, but we are looking to move more into commissioning. We've not done that before, so that's kind of our next goal. But we work also in Guernsey. We have a centre paused in Oxford, but we're hoping to reopen that again. And we have worked in Bristol and Bradford for a number of years as well, but funding as charities for working long term with young people is challenging. But we do take referrals from everyone. So PAMs refer to us, schools, social care, police, GPs. We're quite inundated with referrals, to be honest, which is sad. But we do work with other organisations. So if the trauma coming in, if they're more suited to a mentoring, we have relationships with people like Mentoring Plus. So we would recommend other ones. But we do specialise in complex trauma. And sadly, we're seeing a lot of complex cases coming in. And there's sadly not huge amounts of service that can work with complex cases. So we are working in that area. What else could I tell you? Oh, I don't know. I think that might be it. But if there's any questions, then please let me know.
Thanks, Claire. Do put your contact details in the chat if that's okay. Any questions for Claire at all? No?
One thing that might be worth noting is because our therapists' work is very traumatizing. We are actually about to just hit a break for the summer holidays. We work term time. So if you are to email me, our office officially closes this week. But I wanted to come still and meet everybody. But in September, we will be definitely up and raring to go, but it's just our time to take annual leave over the summer holidays. So if you don't hear back for a little while, that's fine. But yeah,
that's great. Thanks, Claire. Any questions? No, I don't think so. Okay, great. I'll move on to Gwen, if that's all right. Hi, Gwen.
Hi there. Thank you very much for the invite. I think I gave an update maybe in the last session, kind of lost track. So I've got two hats here today. I'm Chair of Trustees at Keynsham Food Bank, which is entirely volunteer run. And I'm also co-organiser of the Keynsham Repair Cafe, which is another volunteer thing. So Keynsham Food Bank, business as usual, sadly, getting busier. So the 3 centres are open. So it's Monday at the Key Centre in Keynsham, Monday mornings, Thursday mornings at St Francis in Keynsham, and Friday morning in Salford. We reverted back to collection at our door, I'm going to say about a year ago now, possibly a little less, and that's working quite well. We're not yet back to as we were before, so we're not doing sort of cups of tea and a chat. We are doing signposting though still, so if we've got somebody who needs a bit of guidance or conversation, then we've got reference material that we try to keep up to date. So yeah, if there's sort of stuff that you think that people who come to the food bank maybe might find useful, then do let us know. It's always good for us, you know, we do regularly update. We put a note in the bag with the food that we give out to clients. So, you know, it's good to keep that up to date if there's new facilities or services available. Info@keynsham.foodbank.org.uk would be the best one, and that's the one on the website. that inbox is looked at very regularly. So yep, so that's sort of ticking along. We are on the lookout for more volunteers. I think, like as most people have said, volunteers are not as abundant as they were previously. And I think what we tend to find is that we get a lot of very retired people who perhaps are not as physically able to move around heavy boxes of food. So, you know, we sort of have to kind of handle that quite politely, but we do need people who are fairly robust in being able to move heavy stuff safely. So that's the food bank. And then the other hat, so the repair cafe. So we had a bit of a hiatus, but we're back up and running again now. We did our third session. I'm going to say it was Saturday, it might have been the Saturday before. So did the third session back, and that went well, still a bit quiet for both volunteer repairers and people that want things fixed. So slowly kind of increasing the comms that we're doing. It's tricky to find that balance, right? You want to be busy, but you don't want to be overrun. So yeah, that's free, and we run that monthly. It's the same Saturday as the farmers market. So we're kind of trying to do a thing around Keynsham special second Saturday. So to just try and get that second Saturday in people's heads. And we're in the Baptist church on the high street, the one with the garden. So that's quite a nice space to be working in. And we've got the doors wide open at the moment, which is lovely. So yeah, that's just once a month on the second Saturday, 10 till 12. And we'll have a go at fixing. If you can get it to us, we'll have a go at fixing it. That's kind of what we say. Mainly household stuff. So lots of lamps and toasters and kettles and jeans with holes in. Thanks.
Thanks, Gwen. It's trendy to have holes in your jeans now, isn't it?
I think it rather depends where they are.
And then well, that's a good point. Yeah, no, definitely. Any questions for Gwen at all? No? Brilliant. Oh, it's great work that you do, Gwen. And the repair cafe, I went to the repair cafe in Summer Valley, and they do some brilliant stuff. It's amazing what they can repair. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's really uplifting.
Really
actually.
talented. Yeah, really talented people. So yeah, brilliant. Great stuff.
Yeah,
Thank you. I know you've got to go shortly, but I put your contact details for the food bank in the chat for you.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Gwen. Wendy, are you?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good. Yes, I'm Wendy Loads, liaison officer with the England Illegal Mail Ending team. Richard did a plug earlier. He very kindly had us on his radio station, and my manager did a really good interview with him. So thank you very much, Richard, for that. Loan sharking, unfortunately, is getting worse. What with the pandemic and the fact that the payday lending industry is also getting smaller, that's also having effect. But of course, the cost of living is the big one. We're going to find more and more people definitely turning to loan sharks in the months to come. We're a team basically around about 60. We're based in Birmingham, but we cover the whole of the country. I'm normally based in Wiltshire, and I am your liaison officer for your area. We basically investigate, prosecute loan sharks, and we help the victims of loan sharks, our clients, get their lives back on track. We do have a hotline number, which is 0300 555 2222, and we also have a website as well, which is www.loansharks.co.uk. You can report a loan shark on a 24-hour hotline, but you can also report a loan shark on our live chat on our website. I do organise training sessions. If any of your organisations are interested in having a training session to find out more about us and how we help victims, you can email me at wendy.loads@birmingham.gov.uk. As I say, we are getting busier. So if you don't know about loan sharks and you want to know more about it, about our team, please get in contact and I can have a chat with you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Sarah. Thank you.
Lovely. Thanks, Wendy. And thanks for coming to our forums. But I know it was back in the winter, wasn't it? Back in February, I think you came to our forums. And what was quite shocking was, I think your opening statement was, I've met many loan sharks. One of them was it a 90-year-old or an 80-year-old?
He was 78 years old, yes. People have this image of loan sharks are big and burly. We do meet the odd one like that, but mostly they do not look like that. It is a myth. My very first one was in Bristol. She was 78 years old, little old lady with a walking stick. And I learnt that day, it's not about how big and burly the person is, it's about what they do to people's minds. And big and burly blokes were terrified of this woman. and they were paying her on a regular basis. So yeah, so get the image out of your head that they're all burly loan sharks. They're not, you know, it could be anybody. They look like you and they look like me, and in fact victims look like you and they look like me. You're dead right. Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks very much. If you could put your details in the chat. I tried to type it in really quickly, but
no, it's okay.
I got the numbers all wrong. So yeah, if you could,
I shall do that right now.
Thanks, Wendy.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
And you too. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Karen's gone. Lucy Kitchener. Hi Lucy, how are you?
Sarah,
in a different role.
I know, how nice to see you.
Yeah, and you too.
So like lots of other people, I'm also new to this meeting. So I am the CEO for We Hear You, which I don't know if the previous CEO even came to these meetings, who knows? But for those of you who don't know what we do, we're a charity providing free counselling for patients, families, friends and carers affected by cancer or bereaved by cancer or any other life-threatening conditions, which includes COVID. We support children, young people and adults, and we work across Somerset, Baines and Wiltshire, and about to go into Swindon as well. So I've just come along to say hello, meet you all. Hopefully I'll come again in the future.
Thank you and welcome. It's nice to see you again in a different role.
I know.
Any questions for Lucy at all?
Okay. Can I just say, this is Nikki at Dorothy House, and I just think Lucy has completely undersold why in that 30 seconds, because in the family support team, we worked quite often with why, and the people that we referred to them just had an amazing experience. So thank you very much for all your organisation.
Thanks, Nikki. That's really kind. I have deliberately undersold us because referrals are at an unprecedented high right now, and we have people waiting a really long time for services. And so the team said to me, don't get any more referrals in, get money in, don't get referrals right now. We're thinking. So I did pitch, you know, at a level, but it's really nice to hear that. So thank you.
You're very welcome. And Dorothy House is very much the same. I think we're all under strain at the moment, but no, a great organisation for anybody who doesn't know it.
Definitely. And Lucy, you might remember we do a funding journal and our Interagency Bulletin, so do have a look at that, because I know Alison spends quite a lot of time putting loads of different funding from all, you know, national funding and very local level. So hopefully there might be some funding available for your organisation and others. So do have a look at that. So I've got two left, I think. Ian. Hi Ian, how are you?
Hi everyone, and thanks for the information that I've learned this morning. I'm here representing Stowey and Sutton Parish Council, a parish out in the Chew Valley, and also the Nature and Climate Emergency Group for the Chew Valley area. Really impressed with both those organisations. Are really impressed with some of the dialogues that are going on at the moment. It helps us to feel a lot more connected. What we do hope is that they actually generate some new services, basically. And on that note, I would just say that anybody who is looking for new venues and new people to meet, then the Chew Valley area has a wealth of church halls, village halls, etc., all great venues. So remember us out in the far west here. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Ian. And you're right, there's some fantastic stuff going on in the Chew Valley. Whilst we don't, as a council, have any sort of central place for One Stop, there is some fantastic groups and organisations, village agents, the community libraries, Age UK are out there. You know, there's lots of activities going on. So do link up where you can, because there is a real need in the Chew Valley for people's support, and you know, if you can link up, that's great. And thanks for all you're doing with the climate emergency group. I know you've got some great ambitions and things, so you know, you're all working really hard. So thanks very much. I think Andrew's got a question.
I do, yes, for Ian. Chew Valley, Midsummer Norton are probably the two areas that we struggle to be able to make people aware about Future Bright. So we're always looking for possible areas, locations to do like drop-in sessions, so that people become more aware about Future Bright. Is it possible to get your contact details?
Yeah, I'll put them on the chat. I'll put them on the chat, Andrew.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Phoebe Coombs.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Phoebe. Sorry, I know you're last, but not least.
No, and I would put my camera on, but usual working from home issues. If I put it on, I'm scared I'm going to drop out. I know it's always nicer to put a face to a name, but hopefully next time you'll all be able to see my face.
That's right. Don't worry.
I work for ARA, Addiction Recovery Agency. Just a quick overview about what we do. So our core services are alcohol and drug support, prison resettlement, housing support, youth outreach, mental health support, and what I work for is the gambling service. So we're the national treatment providers for the gambling helpline. And what I'm here to introduce today is the brand new project that I'm leading. So I'm the project lead for the 6 to 10 project. And what we do is give free, confidential, holistic support to anyone affected by another's gambling. So currently they can get counselling, but this project is offering them the kind of practical support that they'll need. So when they find out that their loved one has a gambling addiction, they're not only hit by that kind of personal crisis, but there's a lot of practical things that come alongside it. So whether or not they can pay their bills, feed their kids, anything like that. So that's where my project come in. We'll be giving them a dedicated support worker to go through all of these issues. We kind of are focusing around 9 current ones at the minute, but we can help with pretty much anything. So the 9 ones include things like housing, finance, legal, mental health. And what we found so far is that finance and legal are the ones that they seem to struggle with the most. So what I'm really looking for is other agencies to kind of link in with that can help my team support them. Or like you've all said, you're all completely overrun. I mean, the services are, everyone's asking for them. If we can take some people off your hands and give them support through this project, I'll be looking to link up with anyone that will be able to do this. Just a quick overview though of our other gambling services that we provide. So we do Breaking the Sharam, which is our South Asian project. So that's culturally sensitive support for anyone in the South Asian community. We also do criminal justice. So I've been working with that project lead going into prisons and bringing up kind of like gambling harms and things like that. And then we also do the youth project. So we're reaching out to kids about gambling harms, and a lot to do with gaming right now, gambling and gaming, which is really high. So we've got someone who's kind of a champion in all these areas that we can kind of, reach out and tell you guys about. And we also provide the Bet You Can Help training. So if any of your team want to learn more about gambling related harms, it's an hour-long training session that I can provide with a colleague of mine. So yeah, that's just a quick overview of ARA, me, and the projects we do.
Thanks, Phoebe. And you mentioned gaming. Well, I was quite shocked that actually, there's a lot of, gambling linked to gaming. It's quite frightening, really, that young people are exposed to some of that as well.
Yeah.
And these bitcoins and all these sorts of things that are sold via gaming, and it's quite frightening. So thanks. Yeah, it's sort of very hidden, isn't it? And it's sort of it's not potentially seen as gambling.
Unfortunately, gambling is a hidden addiction anyway. There's not much you can see as a result of someone's gambling unless you find out that all of your money's gone. So for affected others especially, they feel a lot of the same shame and stigma as the gambler because they're embarrassed they didn't catch it earlier or they didn't see any signs. So yeah, it's a scary addiction, but we've got a great team at ARA that can provide a lot of support and training.
Brilliant, thank you. And I'm sure link that with Mel and the Children and Young People's Network and those organisations are really valuable. Phoebe, if you could put your details in the chat. Ruth has asked you to clarify again your, are you a national organisation, Phoebe?
So we cover the whole of Wales, Southwest, Cornwall, Baines. So yeah, we're pretty much all in your area, the whole of Wales. And my project actually is partnered with another organisation in the Northwest. So we can cover some areas of the Northwest of England as well.
Brilliant. So not a small area then.
No, it's quite big.
Yeah, that's great. Any questions for Phoebe at all? Okay. Phoebe, I'll give you just a little bit of time to put your details in the chat. What I'll do is I will share the contact details with yourselves after this meeting. We don't do notes of this meeting. We record the meeting, we share it, we put it up on our YouTube site. But we don't do notes of the meeting. We ask people to sort of make their own notes and make their own links, but I will share the contact details with you after this meeting. So thanks very much. Thanks for coming. Thanks for those new people that have come. I hope you found it really useful. Thanks for those that have been before and keep coming back. So thanks again. Hopefully you find these meetings useful. You've got an hour back. I've managed to chair that quite well. You've got an hour back to cool down, get your fans on, get your bowls of water and put your feet in them, get cold, or jump in the swimming pool or paddling pool, whatever you've got. So it's lovely to see everybody. Andrew, have you got your hand up?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep talking. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Not at all. No, it's fine.
I wanted to share something. And it is kind of linked to Claire and what they do with trauma. But I wanted to share something just so people were aware about an organisation that not only it might help us, but it might help people that come up against something. So, at the start of the pandemic, I started to help someone who has gone through stillbirth. Not something that I've ever had to deal with before, and our conversations, we never met because of the pandemic, and our conversations were good, but I always felt that I wasn't using the right language, or I didn't know how to say the right things. We finished talking just before the end of the year, and I still always felt guilty that I wasn't sure whether I was saying the right things. And then lo and behold, I saw on the local news they were talking to SANS, the Stillbirth and Neonatal Death Organisation, and it was because a lot of people that work within maternity wards consultants, they didn't know how to talk to people properly. They didn't know what language to use because there was a lack of training for them. And then they talked about free training. So it was just to share. I've done one of the free training programs on SANS around how to use the right language, how to say the right things, what to do, etc. And I wanted to share that with people because it was. I mean, I've only done one free training course, and there were people that have sadly been through that trauma, but it was there for people who needed to know how to talk to people about it, how to use the language. And SANS does have a lot of other free training for people that have been through neonatal things as well. So I just wanted to share so that if the word gets spread, then it might help more people understand about it.
Thank you, Andrew. That's really important, and we'll get in touch with SANS and see if we can get some information about their training sessions so that we can promote it. So thank you for raising it. It's really important.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you.
And thank you for being sensitive about it, because it is things that it's often very difficult to talk to people about things that they've gone through and trauma, and so
I met that person last week for the first time, and it was good. It was really good. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
All right.
Well, thanks very much, Nikki. I hope you feel a bit better. It sounds like your cough is coming back a bit. You need to go and cool down a bit. I think that's probably what will help.
I'm really sorry. I thought I was on mute. Apologies.
No, don't worry at all. No, you take care of yourselves. Cross fingers nobody else gets COVID. Look after yourselves, keep cool, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Sarah.